players' minds as the Illawarra side takes to the field. Doherty is the full-back. The wings, O'Meara and Britian, he will wear 14. Girdler and McGregor in the centres. The half-back partnership of Whittaker and Neil. Watch for the battle between Neil and Edwards. He's in 15. Russell is the lock forward. Gallagher and Cross, the captain, the second row. Waddell and Teitzel, the props, and Dean Skifility, he is the hooker. Those jerseys are brand new commemorative jerseys for this, the first ever international fixture for this Illawarra Steelers outfit. They're a big side, as so many of these Australian teams are. They're third in the Winfield Cup League ladder at the moment, just a point behind the joint leaders of Easts and Brisbane. And here comes the British boys, led by Sean Edwards, the captain. Steve Hampson, Ian Lucas, Lee Jackson, Graham Hallis, they all follow, and they're given quite a warm reception by this big crowd inside the stadium today. Check on their lineup. Hampson is the fullback, played some football here in Illawarra. Delbro and Hallis, Connolly, Powell, Ellis and Edwards confirmed as captain. McGinty is the lock forward. The second rows, Furbank and Les Holiday. Ian Lucas and Lee Crooks, as you say, Peter, quite rightly, big games for them. And Lee Jackson is the hooker. There is Ian Lucas. Look at Lee Crooks in the background too there. And Kevin Ellis really getting themselves wound up for this one. Mike, the British lads know just how important it is.
So important indeed. And that man there, Kevin Ellis, an outside chance perhaps of forcing his way into the Test side. A lot of tension here.
Anthem, of course, everybody on their feet, and they will stay on their feet now as we get the British national anthem. Well, a shortened version. Lots of British people inside the ground. All the tours are congregating here in Australia for the first test at the Sydney Football Stadium on Friday. Reminder, you can see that match live and exclusive on Sky Sports. There's the man in the middle, Graham Annesley, one of the officials from the Winfield Cup. Top official, top match. There's the Pommies. They're having a wonderful time down here. We're meeting plenty of them as we go around the country, and they're all loving every minute of it. And there is a man that we all hope will be playing in the test match on Friday, Andy Gregory, on the right of your picture, of course. He has a groin injury, but he was confident when we left them in Canberra yesterday that he would be fit to play at the Sydney Stadium on Friday night. Graham Annesley then, referee, gets this match underway. An important game. John Cross just clinging on, and a big hit immediately. And that shows just what this match means to both sides. Teitzel taking it up for the Steelers. Mike, no love lost out there today, I fancy.
No, there's going to be fury, and there you can see the intenseness of the tackling. The guys out there realise that there could be a test spot up for grabs, and they're going to go full belt.
The big props, Lucas and Crooks charging in. That's Skifility. He plays the ball out wide to Whittaker. Look at the ferocity of the British tackling. Edwards has hurt his shoulder in that. He grimaced as he went down. This is the last tackle. Edwards clutched the shoulder. Let's hope there's no problems for him, because if Andy Gregory is unfit, Edwards, you would think, would get the vote. Hampson, former Steeler. Big hit on Graham Hallis.
And likewise, the Illawarra Steelers, they certainly mean business. They've really hit top form in the Winfield competition this season. They're the outside tips to actually make the grand final.
Don't mention that this is the Great Britain's second string to anyone inside this stadium today. Big Lee Crooks, shoulder to the wheel. Stopped by the number 12, Teitzel. Kick downfield. Bit of a fumble. Doherty, the fullback, collects it. Tries to go round Darryl Powell, can't do so.
Well, that was an intended kick there deep by Sean Edwards. They want to get some tackling in against the Steelers. He didn't want to find touch. They want a good workout here to the British Lions.
Well, it's a really intense start, isn't it? And it looks hot from up here. What about downstairs on touchline? We have Jonathan Davis there.
Yeah, well, it's a big breeze at the moment, you know. I'm not sure who's playing into it because it's rather swirling about here. Same start, a great start by the great defense by Britain again. You know, this is the real test, I feel. You know, the first 20 minutes is so intense in the Winfield Cup. And like I said earlier on, you know, they put a strong side out, so the first 20 minutes will be crucial.
Absolutely vital. Jonathan Davis joining us today on touchline on Sky Sports. Shame he's not out there on the pitch, though I think he might be getting saved for the first test if he was fit. And the Steelers caught inside the 5. First penalty going to Great Britain.
Well, the referee Annesley very quick indeed. The Steelers were moving up quite quickly. It's so important that the confidence can be built upon very early in this game. Malcolm really would have emphasized that before they went out. And what a great move, Eddie, to think that Malcolm really, knowing that John Devereaux has not hit the top form we've seen this year, and putting Alan Hunt on the bench.
Yes, a little gentle reminder to Devereaux that a big match is expected, and who knows, he could also slip into the test lineup if he produces it. Billy McGinty. His opposite number, Ian Russell, stopping him. Ball is switched this way. Edwards, that's a good darting run from Edwards, but the Steelers alert. Crooks now, but a forward pass. Lee Crooks looking in real determined mood, isn't he? I think he knows, and so does Ian Lucas there in that picture. They know the prop spot is up for grabs in the test.
Yes, they're running with a lot of determination. A little bit too much there. Darryl Powell should really have kept hold of that ball. A little bit of nerves as well.
We've had nearly 4 minutes. It's 0-0. The Steelers 0, Great Britain 0, as Russell takes it up for the Steelers. Stopped by Ian Lucas. Good to see him back in the British jersey. Ian Lucas, only his second game this since that broken wrist that you saw on Sky Sports at Featherstone. And that's good unloading in the tackle by Waddell.
You can expect some very top-class football from the Illawarra Steelers.
The injured captain, Ellery Hanley, will he play on this tour? That's the big question being asked in the British camp. No one seems to be able to come up with the answer yet. Russell with the kick ahead. One for Hampson. Good run from Hampson. I know he's anxious to impress as well today, Mike, having played here at the Steelers Stadium in 1989.
Yeah, it's a wonderful fullback. He had quite a good stint with the little halfback Andy Gregory. In fact, took them to a Panasonic Cup final. They didn't actually win that cup. They were beaten by the top Brisbane side that year. But he certainly put them on the road to success that they're showing this season.
Some mean tackling going on out there. That's Carl Furbank. That was Jackson. This is Edwards. Kicking game so important. The ball hanging in the breeze. Takes a kind bounce on that far side of the field for the number 14 Britain. Obstruction, and what's more, another penalty in Great Britain's favour.
Well, he obviously used one of his Steeler players there you'll see it come here. He just runs straight into Paul McGregor. McGregor looking back at us and say, oh no, that's a simple penalty. Silly play there by the Steelers.
Great Britain's second penalty then. Hallis almost finds the Pacific Ocean with that one. A glorious day here in Wollongong. It might be winter in Australia, but it's like a spring day. Absolutely beautiful. And all we need is a British victory. And that's Ian Lucas. This is Lee Jackson, and this is Crooks. Driving towards the post. Great run from the big man. Britain looking eager again. Edwards holding on. Holiday was there in support. Edwards takes the tackle. But Great Britain now 4 meters short of the line. Holiday trying to go it alone. 6.5 minutes on the watch. Lucas. Number 16, Dave Gallagher on the spot. This is the last tackle. Edwards, they're trying to run it with McGinty, but that's good smothering tackling from the big number 4, Paul McGregor.
Oh, he's a tough player, the Illawarra centre. He's the man that put out Mal Meninga in the State of Origin, the 3rd game at the Sydney Football Stadium. He's a tough customer, and the Steelers feel that he will make a big impact on the international scene in years to come.
Great Britain then trying to keep Illawarra penned in this 22. This is Russell. Big set of forwards. They're a really big side. This now is Aaron Whittaker, but that's good tackling from Gary Connolly. 15 is Michael Neal. This is Craig Teitzel. Good defence, though, from Great Britain. 5 tackles gone. The Steelers still inside their own half. John Cross, the captain, with the long kick downfield. Hampson collects it.
That was a huge kick there by Cross. Obviously, the tactics, typical Australian. Get the ball down there and bring the chasers up as quickly as possible.
The Steelers in a rich vein of form. They're 3rd in the Winfield Cup table, just a point behind the joint leaders. It's 0-0 after, well, they say 6 minutes on the caption. It's 8 minutes on my watch. They're 3rd in the table, as I say. They went a long time unbeaten here at the Steelers Stadium. Kick downfield. 1 for Doherty. Britain allows him to collect it. Edwards the kick. Now it's with Neal, and he slips the ball to Brendan O'Meara. The prop forward is Waddell. The tackling was by Lee Jackson. Neal again, switching that ball, keeping it alive well. There's McGregor, and that's a lovely piece of play. Still going.
That was good play by Teitzel, got Britain, the winger, away. They play very tight to Illawarra in the forwards and then switch it very quickly indeed.
The acting halfback is Skifalitti. He clips one over the top. And Hallis content to let the ball run dead in goal. Britain with the tap on the 22 then.
Bit of a wasted effort there by the Steelers, but very impressed so far with Shaun Edwards. He really has stamping his authority early in this game, and that's what I'm sure the coach Malcolm really will be looking for.
Now the penalty, Great Britain. Darryl Powell not being allowed to regain his feet after that tackle. Penalty counts going Britain's way at the moment.
That's good refereeing as well by Annesley there. He's obviously letting it known very early in the piece that the players that they can get on with playing football. Let's not just see a big mauling match.
Well, Jonathan Davis is watching sideline, that football just in front of him. Early impressions, Jonathan?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a great defensive start again by Great Britain. I think the man they've got to close down is Russell. You know, Simon isn't playing the halfback, and he's usually the playmaker. But like I said, you know, an aimless kick, as Steve-O said there, which, you know, should frustrate the Illawarra Steelers.
That was Jonathan Davis, not a Welsh version of Steve Roach. This is Shaun Edwards. And that's Darryl Powell. He's through one. He's got support inside from Fairbank. This is a good start again by Great Britain. Ellis spreading the ball to Edwards. Edwards to Crooks. Crooks over the top to Devereux, but Devereux spills it. That's been the story of John Devereux on this tour. And there's the British bench, the substitutes waiting for their chance.
Well, to be fair, I think this ball from Crooks was well forward. There you see, but Devereux should have taken that. He attempted a one-handed effort. It takes two to make it safe.
Aaron Whittaker. Whoa, what a big hit by Billy McGinty. John Cross, the captain. McGinty and Holliday getting through some work. Is now is Russell, the loose forward. Again, a great tackle from Carl Furbank. Furbank, I think, felt that one. This now is McGregor. And the ball is kept alive brilliantly. He finds Whittaker. Now with Skifality.
This is where you'll see the Steelers start to spin it out wide. The hard work gone from the tackles.
It's the last one on this set of 6. Cross with the kick ahead. Graham Hallis collects it. Good work from Hallis. Oh, what a run this is from Hallis. He's heading off down the touchline. McGregor's in pursuit. This is going to be a magnificent try. He scored. What a try for Graham Hallis. He left the Steelers for dead. The boos around the stadium, they believe it was a double movement. But Graham Annesley's the man who's more important, and he says the try was a good one. And Hallis, a marvellous start.
Well, they say every now and again a youngster on tour comes out of his shell. And isn't that a shell to break out of? That is full, supreme confidence. He's not held. That is a perfect try. Referee is correct. He's definitely correct in giving the 4 points. Oh, but this is sheer skill. The confidence in the boy. He took the players on. 3 of them he beat, and fully deserves that point.
Excellent try from Graham Hallis of Hull Kingston Rovers. An under-21 international with 3 caps. One of the major surprises on this tour. But my word, what a start for him. His second try of the journey to the Southern Hemisphere. One of only 4 uncapped men on the British touring party. What a tremendous try that was, and that fellow, Martin Afire, couldn't have done much better than that himself. Great encouragement from the British team for the players who are out there on the field today. And that was a real piece of Afire speed and skill from Graham Hallis. John Devereux then with this important conversion attempt. It looks good, but it's just going to fade short. The accuracy was there. Perhaps the wind just caught it and took it away from the posts. But what a start for Great Britain. 4-0 they lead. Jonathan Davis, well, Graham Hallis, what a start for him. It's with John Devereux now. Don't think we got downstairs to Jonathan Davis then. We'll try and pick him up in a moment.
Well, there may be gremlins in our lines, Eddie, but I can assure you there are gremlins in the Illawarra defence there. That was a superb try.
Really did take some scoring, didn't it? My word.
Well, he trapped the ball. He was so nonchalant about it that the Illawarra Steeler defence just expected him to just go to ground with the football. And he produced 2 wonderful pieces of magical football, and 4 points was the result.
Last tackle for Great Britain, and they're deciding to run it again. Such is the confidence. Maybe they miscounted. Furbank was caught in possession then. It's the turnover, the second one, and the first penalty to ironic cheers from the Steelers supporters coming from Graham Annesley.
Well, you'll see here that Sean Edwards took a step to the right before the ball was played. Edwards claiming to the referee Annesley that the ball had hit the ground and was moving. Annesley was having none of that.
Well, that penalty then to Illawarra is their first of the afternoon. Here comes Russell, driving play towards the British 22. Now, Great Britain really have got to try and hold out here. Teitzel for them. Skifality again, and he brings Gallagher into the play. McGregor was steaming up in support. Skifality with a little signal decides to go the other way. This is Doherty, the full-back, stepping through the challenges, but not away from Crooks or from Connolly. Skiffality again. Neil, they're stretching this ball and the play out wide. It's now with Girdler. Good tackling, Darryl Powell. Last one. Big defensive effort still needed. Skiffality angles the ball across the face of play. Devereux with it behind his line, and Devereux's caught. Good chasing. But we found Jonathan Davis, I think, down on the touchline. Jonathan, despite that, and Devereux being caught in goal, what a start this is.
Yeah, fantastic try, you know, by Graham Hollis. Nobody's mentioned him in the test position yet, and you know, he wanted to remind Mal really that he was on this tour. You know, a good kick but a bad chase, and you know, he exploited it. A fantastic try and a great start for the lads.
Great Britain then with the drop out from underneath the sticks. Russell collects it for the Steelers. Runs into McGinty and Crooks. That
was an intelligent play there by Illawarra, the hooker. Well, Skiffality, he punched the ball through, but equal to the task was the man that we were just talking about, John Devereux. He said that he's lost a lot of confidence on this tour, and I'm sure that will build it.
This now is Teitzel. He's spreading it wide. Skiffality takes it on again for the Steelers. Finding a hole, keeps it moving. 16 is Gallagher. He was there to pick up the pieces. And the Steelers 10 metres short of the line. Russell. Good ball back to Teitzel. Teitzel hanging on and taking the tackle from Ellison Edwards. Here they come again, the Steelers, with John Cross. McGinty wrestles him to the floor.
That was a pretty high one there by McGinty, and Cross didn't like it.
Doherty is the full-back joining the line. This is great pressure from the Steelers. Skiffality again, plays the ball out wide. That's McGregor. The way Great Britain are moving up and cutting down the options, it's good to see.
Oh, good defence there. You saw that Hallis came in off the wing. McGregor had no chance to get through there.
Still, the tackle count keeps going. This is Michael Neal. It's the last one. If Britain survive this, there'll be the big sigh of relief. It might be 6 more. Oh, they've gifted the try, and it's Ryan Girdler who's got it. It bounced off a British leg in defence. Came back, Girdler saw the chance, hacked it forward. He was more alert, and he was on the end of it to touchdown. Scores a level.
Little bit of lady luck here. Michael Neal, the gingerhead halfback. It bounced off Lee Crooks. The ball came through. Ryan Girdler was quick. He was on the spot and gains himself 4 points. That's a bitter blow to the British boys. They saw Neal, but it bounced straight off Crooks. Nothing they could do about it. The disgust on Crooks there, and the sorrow in the British defence. But it's all about taking chances, and the Steelers have equalled.
Malcolm really has a little bit to think about, discussing tactics with some of the other boys, and of course with Maurice Lindsay, the tour manager. And after such a great start, that's a bit of a blow for Great Britain. There's Andy Gregory, he's taking the drinks out, trying to rally the spirits. But if he's carrying the drinks, Mike, there can't be too much wrong with that groin. Maybe he will be there in Sydney.
Let's hope so. Naturally, they've told him that he's got to keep it moving, not let the muscles tighten up whatsoever. And plus the fact that being a water boy, he's involved there, he's out there, he's that type of person.
Ryan Girdler then, the regular goal kicker for the Steelers. He's a kicker of some quality, but not this time. The kick is waved away, but the score is all square at 4 apiece. And on my watch, well, we're in the 20th minute.
And not only a great goal kicker, but that man, Ryan Girdler, in the picture there, has scored 7 tries already in the Winfield Cup. It may not sound a lot to the British viewers, but when the leading try scorer in Australia often wins it with less than 20, it gives you some indication of this man's class.
So Great Britain been pegged back, it's 4-all, and Jonathan Davis, lady luck not shining on us there.
Yeah, very unlucky there, you know, just an aimless kick once again. But, you know, the rebound and, you know, just followed it through and over he went. You know, very unlucky. Hope it doesn't demoralise the lads and just keep on banging them down. Big defence of the halfback so far, and Billy McGinty is certainly shaking a few Aussie bones here.
Sure has. This now is Teitzel. Teitzel drops it. The ball, though, went back. Referee says they can continue. But Great Britain really, there's Andy Gregory. Great Britain really are swarming in on the challenge, and perhaps a little bit too enthusiastic there on Aaron Whittaker, not letting the halfback get to his feet.
Well, he was certainly trying for the penalty, wasn't he? And he did get it. As in most touring games, a lot of conversation between the opposition. They have always a few choice words for the tourists.
So we're in the second quarter of this first half, coming up to 21.5 minutes on the watch. 4 points apiece. A great start for Great Britain, but they are being examined now by Steve Waddell, the big prop forward. Illawarra obviously have been pepped up by that try. This is Gallagher, Jackson and Lucas finish him off. Now Teitzel's spreading it wide again. McGregor's found a big hole, but Hampson's covered it brilliantly and took a bang on the back of the head, Hampson, for his pains. That was a try-saver, there's no doubt. Russell for the Steelers. Good tackling.
Britain have to watch the blind here.
Skipability. Oh, another one off the leg. And well done, Sean Edwards. He was alert to that.
They were caught a little bit there, Britain. They were slow patching up on that blind side. It was a good job that Sean Edwards was the Johnny on the spot.
What a big effort this is, though, Mike, from Great Britain. Aiming to keep that 100% record going into the first test. Looking back through the records this morning, the last side to do that was 1984, and a team that did it before them was the 1970 party, in which Malcolm Reilly was a member, as Great Britain get another penalty. And of course we all know that in 1970 the Ashes came home.
Yeah, well, there's a replay of the Hampson tackle. A lot of the crowd felt that Hampson came in with the feet first, but I sort of could probably say it's a quarter Cumberland throw, not a full one.
4-2 on the penalty count in Britain's favour. Lee Jackson restarts.
The one thing that Britain have to do, Eddie, very quickly is realise that this Illawarra pack is very strong indeed. And they're going to find it increasingly difficult to try to punch down the middle. They've got to go wide of the rucks.
They're prepared to slug it out, though, and wait for the breaks to come. Jackson again, the dummy half. Kevin Ellis, Lee Crooks. Good, quick hands from Great Britain. Darryl Powell, well watched, though, by Teitzel.
That's the type of play I was calling for.
Edwards again. Crooks once more, having a big game is Lee Crooks, the Castleford captain. Knows there's a spot on the test team to be won here today. Edwards dinks the ball over the top. It's good chasing by Aaron Whittaker. Back to the play, watched it come over his shoulder. The thundering hooves of the British boys behind him. Didn't take his eye off it for a moment. Danger gone, but look at the way Britain are getting stuck in here. Isn't it good to see?
Unbelievable, but this was a good kick here. And there you see Whittaker with his back to the opposition. He didn't shirk it, did it? And neither is the defence on both sides. It's going to be a lot of bruises out there before the 80 minutes is up.
Don't tell me and don't tell anyone this is the British second string. Every one of the 32 players in this Lions squad of 92 want places on the test.
Well, there's only Hallis and McGinty who have yet to get a full cap that's playing out there now.
Devereaux's drifted in off his wing. I'm sure one of the wing spots is up for grabs, and he knows that too. O'Fire, if he's fit, and the feeling is he will be, he's a cert on one wing, but the number two, who knows? And there's another possibility for the test. Lucas, the prop forward. Edwards, another, perhaps, for the football stadium on Friday night. It's the last tackle. Edwards. He hoists the midfield bomb. It's one for Doherty. Oh, and they've dropped it, and that's going to be 6 more for Britain. Connolly has it.
Well, Doherty went far too early then. He was on the downward trail when the ball came to him.
Edwards with a long pass to his Wigan teammate Hampson. Hampson takes the tackle. Russell and Girdler. Now it's with Les Holiday. Good support from the Wigan's teammate Devereaux. Holiday having a bit of swing at the opposition there. Not happy with the challenge. Britain getting on with the job, though. Fairbank. It's another heartening display so far from Britain. That's a good ball to Holiday. And Holiday's just stopped inches short. This is the last tackle. And Britain are that close. If they can spread the ball out wide, who knows? Ellis with the kick ahead. Knock on. 6 more for Britain. No, the referee says it was a knock-on behind the sticks. And so it's going to be a dropout.
Well, he played the advantage here. Ellis punching it through. The fullback, Doherty, going down for it. He caught one from McGinty. All that for his pleasure. And the referee will deem the dropout from underneath the post.
Well, Great Britain really are giving yet another good account of themselves here. They've obviously waited until the Sky Sports cameras were trained on them to produce this sort of form. That's an awful kick out from underneath the sticks. Crooks in possession on the 22 and making good ground again. Connolly's the dummy half. This now is Lee Jackson. Connolly in support, so too is Edwards. There are men out wide. This is Fairbank. Malcolm really will be delighted with this. Holiday looks fit again after the Achilles problems that dogged him early on in the tour. Jackson from dummy half. Edwards, Ellis. Edwards again on the run around.
Oh, Edwards there was waiting for the second phase of attack. It didn't come.
McGinty driving the ball ever nearer that Steelers line. This is the 5th tackle. And this is Sean Edwards. Taps that ball through, but number 2, Brendan O'Meara, just drops on it. And now Girdler will take play away from his own line if he can.
Good play there by the skipper of the Steelers, John Cross. He really didn't give Edwards any time at all. Look at him. That's putting pressure on him, and that's why the kick didn't result.
So Britain having to keep the Steelers pen back in their own quarter here, and that's what they're doing so far. Now, that's the last one. Good defence again. Russell dabs it downfield, saw a big space. Hampson has moved across to cover it, gives it to Devereux. 35 tries from John Devereux for Widnes this season. Not really hit the form yet. Today is a perfect opportunity for him to remind Malcolm really he has the class to make the test.
And there you show the reason why Great Britain are really knitting into a top quality outfit, because we've seen 3 3/4 take that ball up. That's the way to do it. Take a lot of pressure off your forwards.
Jackson again on his own. Jackson breaking through the tackles. That's good play. Powell in support. Hallis was out there screaming for a second chance at running at this Steelers defence. Edwards drives the ball downfield. Good kicking game from Sean Edwards.
That was good play by Britain. 4 tackles. They came way back from their own quarter line, and now they're putting pressure on the Steelers on their quarter line. That's great play.
There's a conference, though, between Graham Annesley and one of his touch judges, and Ian Lucas being pulled out. Crooks and Lee Jackson, though, showing the signs of battle, the strain. And the referee says it will be a scrum. Explaining something the way he wanted it as far as Britain were concerned. Now then, they've got another big effort, but this is a great run from number 14, Britain. Devereux stops him, but was it with the elbow?
He's no slouch, this Jonathan Britton. Got a bit of size to him as well.
Russell to Skifility. He was stragged immediately by Holiday, and Cooks took him downstairs. Now it's with Waddell. Well, boos ringing round this Steelers stadium. The locals not happy with what they're seeing, but from a British point of view, well, there's no boos from us too.
I have to agree with that, but Edwards was a little bit high on that occasion.
Let him go, fellas. Well done, let him go.
Devereux drops on that loose ball. Here's Connolly. Hasn't he come on, Gary Connolly, young player of the year. Here he is on a Lions tour, a Barla tourist not too long ago. Great break from Furbank to Powell. Wonderful tackle, though, by Jonathan Britten.
Oh, good play there. Britten right down on Powell's legs. You can't run without those.
Well, we are not booing the British performance up here. I don't think you are, Jonathan Davis, down there.
No, but there's all boos all around me around here, you know. I think they're quite impressed with the British performance. What I'm impressed with is the ball control. They're working hard. They're going down to the opposition's 25, and they're doing a sensible thing by putting the ball, you know, behind. They're playing on this full back, and he's having a nightmare at the moment. You know, and that's the right tactics.
There's the full-back, Brett Doherty, making no progress at all. Powell and Carl Furbank bringing him down. There's the tackle count. The two sides sharing the workload between them, 93-95.
And that's the reason why it's a tough encounter. But I have to agree with Jonathan. The Great Britain control of the ball. They really have respected possession. Very few mistakes indeed.
Skiffality is the acting halfback. This now is Waddell. And, ooh, and he almost, well, he has. I was going to say he's almost surrendered possession, and he has. The pressure from the British is wonderful to see. Connolly stepping, trying to go through Teichel. Still going Connolly. And still Connolly. Great stuff. Edwards. Long pass out. Now the space is here for Hallis to exploit. Was it a forward pass? Referee says play on. Ball inside to Edwards. Great try. Sean Edwards. Magnificent play from Great Britain. Hallis, the man who scored earlier, turns provider for Sean Edwards. And this is getting better and better and better.
Oh, wonderful play by the British boys. They swung the ball out wide. It all came from Connolly. He kept his legs. He kept his cool. The shout was on. Now, most people would have gone to ground. No, Edwards, look at this long ball. Now, they've sucked in McGregor. The gap is open. And look at this guy go. This kid's supposed to have no experience whatsoever. But I reckon his name will go in Malcolm Reilly's notebook today. Wonderful play by Powell. Beautiful centre play. Look at the determination on this kid. Kept his cool, and the man who's been doing this all season back in England gets a great try.
Sean Edwards with Great Britain's second try, the captain for the day. 40 tries, our leading scorer back home, and he's carrying on the scoring habit here. Talking to him in Canberra just before the match against the Raiders, which he missed, he said he was a little bit concerned about what was happening to him in Papua New Guinea. He was a little bit apprehensive, he said, but he was looking for a big game when he got out on the field against Illawarra today, and he's crowned his performance with a try in the 33rd minute. Devereaux now with this angle to improve matters. Hoists the kick. He's got two more. John Devereaux makes it. Illawarra 4, Great Britain 10. Jonathan Davis downstairs, magnificent.
Another great try there, you know, a good communication between the backs there with Connolly, Edwards and Darryl Powell, creating space for Graham Hallis. Kept the cool head, and there was Sean again, you know, he's done it all season and he's keeping it on. I think the important thing was the goal kick at the end as well, you know, just puts them that 6-point barrier between them.
And so important, I think, too, for John Devereaux's confidence. He's drifting in off the wing more and more. Malcolm really must be delighted. The fact that everyone in the two squads that we've seen so far on Sky Sports on this tour, Mike, are performing.
They certainly are, and they should feel very proud indeed. We saw Malcolm really in shot just there, and I'm sure he'll be quite pleased by it, and so should the entire tour. They're sharing the workload. The team spirit is on show. They are wanting to work for each other, and that is so important.
Less than 5 minutes to go to half-time. A long, long way to go yet, of course. But isn't it encouraging for you people watching back home? This is a British touring party that you really can be proud of. This is a touring party that's taking the Aussies on in their backyard. Jonathan Britten. Look at the spirit. Look at the way they're moving forward. Look at the way they're tackling. Doherty.
This is a very vital time now for the British Lions, not to fall back, just to keep it tight, get back into that game plan and keep Illawarra down in their own half.
Well, Ian Lucas looks as though he's holding one of his arms a little gingerly. Let's hope there's not too much problem for him. Jonathan Davis is watching and listening on the bench. Jonathan, what's the news?
Yeah, I think David Fever's been on to him. He is holding his left wrist there. You know, that's the one that was injured at the end of this season. Hopefully, you know, it'll wear off.
Yeah, fingers crossed. He broke the wrist on Sky Sports, playing for Wigan at Featherstone. Let's only hope that fate is not going to play a cruel part. Hallis. What a half he's had. What a half they all have had. Well, Mike, I remember when Lee Crooks was named in the British party earlier on this year. The Aussies were grinning and laughing. Not so today. They're not laughing at the big man today.
Well, we've still got plenty of minutes to go, Eddie, before the end of the game. Let's not just count our chickens before they're hatched. But they've been very impressed. And I'm sure that Lee Crooks has got plenty to say and show that he still can play at top-class football rate.
The kick ahead on the last tackle was from Sean Edwards, and rightly so. It's a knock-on. Well, Doherty disagrees. The crowd disagrees. The man in yellow is Graham Annesley, and he says this was a knock-on.
Well, maybe a little bit badly done to there. Doherty, I thought the ball slipped back out backwards. But as you said, the man with a merry whistle, he's the man in charge. He's not having the best of games, is he, the young Steeler?
Doherty's in his first season with the Steelers. He's a surveyor. He'll be surveying the wreckage of his performance after this if he doesn't improve. Holiday is hanging on. Good defence. Great Britain inside the quarter line again with Lucas. Looks all right. Edwards to Ellis. Long ball over the far side to Devereaux. He almost dropped it again. Took it at the second attempt. Then was clobbered by his opposite number, O'Meara. This is Connolly.
They're great tactics by the Lions. Using the forwards, keep it tight, and then the long ball out wide. It'll pay off eventually.
Another tester for Doherty. They've dropped it again. They get out of jail thanks to Skipper Litty. It wasn't Doherty who dropped that one, but he is down injured. It was Jonathan Britten who misfielded it. There's Doherty. He copped one as he went for that. And there's Britten. Tackle low down by Lee Crooks.
He certainly hasn't shirked the workload, has he, that winger, Jonathan Britten?
And neither has Lee Crooks as Doherty receives treatment. Lee Crooks, 20 tackles from him in the first 39 minutes of this match. Remember, Great Britain ahead by 10 points to 4, 2 tries to 1, and what a heartening opening 40 it has been. And Lee Crooks in the thick of the action again. The ball bounces into the arms of Devereaux. Ellis. Jackson. Britain moving up in numbers again. Burbank took a tumble. This now is Darryl Powell. Powell of Sheffield Eagles unloads well, having drawn 2 men to him. Here's Lee Crooks. Gary Connolly has picked up a knock. He's being treated by Dave Fever as the half-time siren goes. And what a great half of rugby league football this has been for you people watching back home at breakfast time in Great Britain. Illawarra. Derek Fox is there as we look at the top tacklers and look at the work that Lee Crooks has got through. And Holiday and McGinty not too far behind. Skifferlity, Teitzel and Cross, the top tacklers for the Illawarra boys. Referee Graham Annesley blows the whistle. We're underway in the second half. Big 40 minutes up and coming here. Because, as we look at the top tacklers in the backs, because, Mike, if Great Britain win this handsomely, I rather fancy you will need a shoehorn to get everyone into the Sydney Football Stadium on Friday to see the test.
My word, and I think that all the Australians that are watching it live out here, as well as you people back in Britain, they will be rushing to snap up those last few tickets that are there at the Sydney Football Stadium.
30 seconds gone in this second half then. Great Britain ahead 10-4. And just a slack pass, but it bounced off the head of number 8 Steve Waddell and back to Great Britain. So they have 6 more, and Furbank driving the ball downfield. Now Hunt and Fox have come on. Or we don't think that Fox has come on now, beg pardon. Derek Fox has not come on, but he's out there on the bench and he's stripped and ready to come on. Hunt is definitely on. And as far as the Steelers are concerned, Walsh has come off the bench. David Walsh, number 10, as we watch that little passage of play there. So no Derek Fox, let's get it right for you. No Derek Fox, but Alan Hunt is out on the pitch.
Well, let's hope that Great Britain pull out of that one. That was a bad mistake there by Fairbank. Took his eyes off the ball. They only dropped the ball on 2 occasions in the first 40 minutes. They've got 50% of that up now already in the second half.
Long pass out through that far side. Little chip over the top. Hampson watches it carefully and then is clobbered by O'Meara. And downstairs, Jonathan Davis, as Alan Hunt gets his first touch of this second half, has been watching how Great Britain have reformed to make way for Hunt. What's the news, John?
I've just been talking to Phil Ladd, and it's highly unlikely that Gary Connolly will be coming back. You know, he's just had a bang on his ankle, nothing serious, but it doesn't look as if he'll be coming back on.
But Hunt is on the wing, is he, and Devereux in the centres, or is it the other way round?
It's the other way around at the moment. Hunt is inside of John Devereux, so you know, John stayed on the wing.
So that's the way it is at the moment. Great Britain ahead on the scoreboard, 10-4. Sean Edwards, their captain, hoists the ball downfield. Doherty allows Jonathan Britton to collect it, but that's good chasing by Darryl Powell. And here come the Steelers again with Doherty. Long-haired fullback, wrestled to the ground by the 2 props, Crooks and Lucas. Interesting that during half-time, our door here at the Steelers Stadium opened, and 2 great names of the Australian past, Peter Sterling and Paul Vortin, poked their heads in. They're very impressed, Mike, with this British performance.
And why shouldn't there be? A lot of the Australian press, the electronic media, say that Great Britain can't play rugby league football. Well, sit back and let's just stick it right up them.
With Hampson. 3 minutes gone. Hampson again taps the ball forward. Britain collects, and that looked like a trip from Steve Hampson.
Oh, well, that was silly play there by the fullback. I don't know what came over him then. He knows he's done wrong. Bit of frustration here. Oh, dearie me, Steve. That's not in the rules. And let's hope that Annesley, thankfully, is seeing it on the lenient side. I've seen many a player take an early shower for something like that.
Big sigh of relief then. This Illawarra club entered this Winfield Cup competition in 1982. And Lucas is being called out by the referee for that challenge. And it was a little high, to say the least. Here it is again on the big number 10, David Walsh. Woof.
Mr. Walsh wouldn't be too impressed with that. Neither was the referee, Annesley. We don't need this, really. We're the side that's in front at 10 points to 4. Great Britain need to get their momentum moving again, not have it stifled by giving away silly penalties like that.
4 all on the penalty count. There's been a few high swinging arms. Great Britain must watch their discipline, mustn't they, apart from everything else. Here's Gallagher.
Well, it was so good in that first 40 minutes, and also it was very good down at Canberra, and that's a bad mistake there by the Steelers. That's a let-off for Britain. They know it. John Cross, the skipper, not too happy about that. But getting back to that point, Eddie, the thing is that they did fall apart a little at Canberra in that second half. We really have got to stamp our authority and class in the next 30 minutes or so.
Here's Powell. He's had a big game, and so too has Kevin Ellis. Not only in attack and in creativity, but in defence as well. He topped the tackle count for the backs in that first 40. And Lee Crooks clings on for Great Britain. Lee Jackson, now Edwards. Alan Hunt, substitute for his St Helens clubmate Gary Connolly. An ankle injury, not serious, but Connolly not being risked. Devereux, big strong boy John Devereux. We want to see him run at this Steelers defence at every opportunity if he can. As Crooks hoists the ball downfield, bounces in the sunshine, and O'Meara in the headgear collects, and then collects Edwards and drives him back about 5 or 6 metres before going down. Andrew Pauls is another newcomer at the start of this second half for the Steelers, wearing 19. He too has come on. This match today is being played under international rules, so once the substitute has been made, there's no return for the man who's been taken off. Steelers driving forward with Cross. Not seen too much of Paul McGregor, Mike, in this Steelers side. So much thought of him, but Great Britain really have kept him quiet, and we've seen more from the boys in the red, white and blue, and it's good to be able to talk on those lines.
Well, only because of the fact that the Great Britain have been moving up very well indeed. Connolly before he went off, and of course Daryl Powell and Hallis, they've been coming up very quickly and stifling them. They really haven't given the Illawarra three-quarter line much to go at.
Ellis being held down in the tackle. Another penalty to Great Britain. Graham Annesley will not be receiving any Christmas cards in the mail this year from the Wollongong area, as Michael Jackson prepares to come onto the field. Alice with the penalty. Sean Edwards, the captain, marshalling the troops. Lee Crooks wearing 10, given Malcolm really a big nudge here today. And on comes Michael Jackson for Carl Furbank. Furbank has had a great game here too. Let's hope it's not an injury, as he too is another possibility for the test. There's Furbank just taking a breather, we hope.
I think that's a tactical move by Reilly. He wants to put on someone like Jackson, who's got the speed that can run out wide. Reilly knows that there's no point in taking it down the middle against this tough pack. Get it out wide and the tries will come.
Lee Crooks is stopped 10 metres short. That's how close Great Britain are to the Illawarra posts. It's now with Jackson. That's Lee Jackson. Running onto it strongly was Michael Jackson. Ball's laid back. Ellis with the attempted field goal. It's been given. It's a one-pointer. Great Britain stretched the lead to 7 points. Kevin Ellis with the drop. Intelligent play. It means the Steelers must score twice.
Professional play indeed. The Warrington halfback, playing number 6 today, took the opportunity well. The forwards drove in hard. It was well called for and well taken.
Apologies to British viewers that I call that a field goal. It's being down here. You get into the Australian twang if you're not careful. But believe me, we are British Bulldogs, Mike, aren't we? There's no doubt about that.
We certainly are, but Romans do what Romans do.
Devereux, the dummy half. Must say, it's great to see this British performance. Whinging Ponds was one of the headlines that greeted the British boys when they woke up this morning.
That was polite compared to what I received when I walked in the ground.
So they don't like you over here any more than they like you at home.
I think it's the hairstyle.
Lee Jackson back to the action. Well, he attempted to hack that ball forward. Russell did well. The knock-ons all over the place. Untidy play. Great Britain have the advantage. So referee says 6 more for the Lions. Hampson.
Well, Jackson couldn't get this away, and you'll see here that they dropped the ball. Really, Lucas did do a little bit of knock-on, but good play by referee Graham Annesley. He said, come on, let's have some action. That's what the crowd's come to see. not to see forwards packed down.
What a marvellous run that was from Lee Crooks. He really has run strongly and straight all afternoon. Michael Jackson, Lee Jackson, the dummy half. Third, number 12 is Holiday, and a real collision. Hampson dropped it.
I'm not surprised. This was a bit of a hospital pass here. Jonathan Britten sensed that. And didn't the big winger come in? Crunch. They've had a good duel, both those two, Hallis and Britten.
Alan Hunt leaning all over the fallen player, but referee Annesley allowing him to carry on. Well, there's lots of spite in this one. There's lots of bite if you like your rugby. Tough and rough. Well, this is the place to be. The Steelers Stadium in Wollongong as Great Britain lead by 11 points to 4. Just over 11 minutes of this second half gone. Russell now for the Steelers.
They've kept a good eye on Russell. Ian Russell played a stint at Sheffield. He's the man that really has had the pack ticking at Illawarra the past few weeks, but they've kept him under control today.
Good defensive work from Steve Hampson, snuffing out the danger. You saw there that Bill Dunn is about to come on, and Jonathan Davis has some news of him, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the Illawarra players might be going off or in the blood bin, one of the two, and Bill Dunn is certainly warming up. I think the big difference now is with Britain is that you know, they're starting to throw the ball about a bit too much, I feel, and not keeping the same ball control as the first half. They are in the lead, they're in control, you know, and they should just keep the ball control.
Holiday keeping hold of the football. Don't forget that first test. Live and exclusive, Sky Sports Friday. Be near a satellite dish and watch the first test of this 1992 Ashes series. Great tackling from Great Britain. Believe me, Great Britain have got a real chance in the Ashes series this year. 11-4, 12 minutes of this second half gone. Penalty for offside against Great Britain.
Well, there you see a man getting up off the floor, the veteran player, Lee Crooks. 2 tackles on the trot. He really has given it everything today.
Blowing hard, limping a bit too. And David Fever is on to tend to Billy McGinty as the number 8, Steve Woodell, goes off. McGinty obviously has well, nothing too much wrong with him. One of the chirpiest characters on tour. And it really is a happy Great Britain camp with fellas like McGinty involved. And Graham Hallis, Mike, no surprise to us really that he's come out and played so confidently in this match. He really has been in great form, not only on the field, but off the field too. My word, you can't say that Hallis is shy. He really has involved himself in everything, both on and off the field on this tour. Neil Cowie is preparing to come on as the Steelers come forward again with McGregor. Oh, Powell, though, doing a good job on him. This is Russell, the loose forward. There's Cowie, 17, about to be introduced. I fancy the big man Lee Crooks might take a breather. But Friday night is a date that you should... There's another knock-on, not a mistake from the Steelers. It was Skifalitti, and it was on the last tackle, so it's the turnover. But Friday is a date on your calendars you really should ring. You should try and get days off from work if you can. Be by a TV for the first test on Sky Sports. Live and exclusive. It'll be a marvellous day. And it'll be an even better day if Great Britain win it. McGinty. Piccinelli has come on, by the way, for Jonathan Britten. Number 17 for the Steelers is Piccinelli. 13 for Great Britain is McGinty. And this is Edwards. Now Crooks. And he puts a long one to Holiday. Holiday gets the return from Powell. Here's Hallis again. He's prepared to take them on, but a foot in touch. Well, there you saw the advantage of keeping the ball out wide. The back was coming. You just saw in the background there, Crooks saying to Hallis, come inside, come inside. But he's had a good game as that youngster.
And let's not forget, it's tough out there. There's been some bone-crunching affairs.
Would you say that Hallis, Mike, is in with a chance of a place at the Sydney Football Stadium come Friday night?
Well, his inexperience probably will go against him, but if he continues with this form, it wouldn't surprise me to see him gain his first test whilst on tour.
Malcolm really ringing the changes. 17 is Neil Cowie. He's on for Les Holliday, who's taking a breather on the bench. There's Gary Connolly, injured in the first half. That was a good ball out the back door from McGregor.
There saw once again Powell and Hallis combining. They come in at the right time. They really have snuffed out this very quality class Illawarra three-quarter line.
Yeah, because this isn't a Canberra Raiders affair, this. It's not a second string. The Raidettes, they were called in the papers over here this morning. This is the first team of the Steelers, and they're running strongly now with McGregor, but they've spilled it once again. McGregor trying to find number 16, Dave Gallagher. Man will be known to viewers back home, Rochdale Hornets in the 1990-91 season. Here it is again.
Well, McGregor was taken there well by Sean Edwards. Now, Lee Crook fell on that ball. He looks a very tired player indeed. He's done his bit. He wants replacing. He's walking, but hasn't he had a great game so far? It wouldn't surprise me if he's replaced very soon.
There isn't another forward on the bench. It's Derek Fox who's there. But Devereaux, I think, could play in the pack if need be. And Lee Crooks has hacked that ball downfield, even though Graham Annesley was wiping the tackle count back to 0. So the Steelers are back in possession. McGregor is the acting halfback. And this is Michael Neal. Look at that tackle count. It's creeping up towards the 200 mark. Penalty to the Steelers, laying on in the tackle. Not a silly penalty to give away by the British. It's in shooting range, this.
Well, there you see the youngster not allowing them to get up and play the ball. Michael Neal, no opportunity to even move.
And what's more, they haven't gone for goal, they've decided to run it. Skiffality is the acting halfback. The ball in field there to Bill Dunn. Steelers inching towards that line. This now is John Cross. He's picking McGinty up on his back, deciding to get on with it. Russell, the loose forward. Lucas with the challenge, keeping him at bay, but the Steelers are coming forward in ever-increasing numbers. Skiffality saw a little gap. It was closed quickly by Michael Jackson and Lee Jackson. Nice little dink ball. Hampson's playing the sweep, but they've dropped it, and they've got it back, fortunately. Oh, dear me. There were alarm bells sounding there. Devereaux, the man who dropped on it gratefully for Great Britain. The ball took a very unkind bounce from this.
Good kick here by Alan Neal. Hampson really lost it there as he went past the post. He may have been unsighted, but that was good defense. John Devereaux came back. That's the job of a wingman in situations like that.
Phil Larder, the assistant coach of Great Britain, is on his haunches behind those posts. And that was a heck of a tackle from Crooks. O'Meara felt that. This is Russell, hauled back by the collar. Watch this from Crooks. Wacko!
And they once said the man couldn't tackle.
Piccinelli for the Steelers. Big pressure here from Illawarra. A real examination of this British defence now. Through 2. That was McGregor. He's coming more and more into it. He's had a quiet match. Russell's going on his own. That's the last tackle. The Steelers running it. Long ball out to this near side. McGregor again. Britain swallow him up. No, he gets it out the back door brilliantly. They get it back. Wonderful defence.
Oh, great cover by the British boys then. They really are determined to stop the Steelers scoring another try. Look at the defence here, packing through. Once again, Hallis coming in, taking the gamble and knocking down the big McGregor.
Skiffeliti then also had a shot at Darryl Powell, quite legal, but it was Skiffeliti who wheeled away in pain. Darryl Powell carried on. Here's Alan Hunt, almost through. Good tackling from Girdler. Penalty. And Alan Hunt screaming at the referee, disagreeing with the decision. Here it is.
Well, it may get away with that at Knowsley Road, but I'm afraid in Australia, the Antipodeans don't like something like that. You have to face parallel towards the sticks and play the ball correctly.
Jonathan Davis downstairs. This is a lot of pressure on Great Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite noticeable now that they've increased the tempo of the game. But one good point is the fact that the two wingers are having great defensive games, you know. And hopefully that little penalty there by Alan Hunt won't go against the boys now.
Well, they've dropped it, have the Steelers. There's a knock on. There it is. The crowd saying that it was stolen in the tackle. Referee Annesley disagreeing. Scrum down is the decision. Britain have possession with Devereux. Now with Cowie. Slipped the ball away brilliantly to Lee Jackson, did Neil Cowie. McGinty. Willing, running strongly, midway through this second half. The British ahead, 11 points to 4. Lucas. Now Darryl Powell.
Well, there you heard the British team players screaming, hold on to the ball. They have to just calm themselves. It's getting a little bit excitable out there. This is where the skipper, Sean Edwards, has to cool it down.
And he will cool it down with kicks like that. Derek Fox with 16, waiting to come on. Just doesn't find touch. O'Meara picks up. And Devereux wheels him in with a bit of help from Alan Hunt. Be interesting to see who Derek Fox will replace in this Great Britain side. Will it be Lee Crooks, who has got through a power of work?
Well, I think they should replace him. I'd put Holiday perhaps up to the front row and put Fox in at loose forward.
Well, they say that British players aren't as fit as their Australian counterparts. The next 20 minutes will show the proof positive of that statement. This is the last tackle again. And this is Skiffeliti running with McGregor. McGregor tries to unload, but it was a penalty for offside.
Yes, he has to be offside there. John Cross, the skipper, in front. There's little Andy Gregory. He'll be passing out plenty of information. It is very important now that Britain just calm things down, respect possession, get back into their game plan that was on show in the first 40 minutes.
That penalty has just taken the pressure off them a little. Brave fever comes on behind the play here to tend to one or two of the battered, bruised bodies. And here now is Neil Cowie. Sean Edwards playing a captain's part. Great Britain edging ever closer towards that line with Lee Crooks. Lee Jackson, Sean Edwards, Darryl Powell. What a heartening display this has been, though. Last tackle, Edwards. Great Britain elect to run it. Now they will hoist the bomb through Hampson. Good take. That was Whittaker. And he was clobbered by the man who hoisted the bomb, Steve Hampson.
That was wonderful play. Good take by Whittaker, but an equal tackle from that man that went straight through Stevie Hampson. They're still keen.
And the Steelers still keen too. This is 19, Andrew Pauls. But look at the way Great Britain perhaps miss a tackle, but then there are plenty of troops in reinforcement to bring the man down. Look at the way they're still going in, 3 and 4 at a time.
That's been another great advantage for the Lions today, is the fact that the sweeper, Sean Edwards, he really has swept up, mopped up anything that's got through. The half break, he's always been there to kill it.
Last tackle. Russell, the loose forward. They're running it again here with O'Meara. And the Lions have him. And it's the turnover again. On the last tackle, O'Meara caught in possession. And Ian Lucas being led to the sidelines. He is off, and Derek Fox is on, so Big Lee Crooks has to go through the 80 minutes. Lucas looking slightly concerned. Let's hope it's not the wrist. Devereaux coming back from nowhere into the dummy half position. Here's Crooks. He really has relished this chance that he's been given here this afternoon by Malcolm Reilly.
He's had a big game. He must be dragging on his resources now.
The whole of the British side must be running close to empty. It's a big ask. Derek Fox, he hasn't started a game yet. There he is. But this is his 4th appearance as a substitute in the 6 matches. Really has been a model tourist.
I think the important thing that really would have told Fox is to take control a little bit, take a bit of pressure off Sean Edwards, make sure that they tick and start going back into that game plan.
It will be a happy coachload of players that heads off to Manly, where the team is based for the next 3 weeks, and where we hope we will be celebrating a British Test victory on Friday night. If they hang on to this, 27 minutes gone, they lead 11-4. The Steelers, though, are coming more and more into it. Russell, Hunt had him. Oh, it's good play from Russell. He's found Gallagher, and quick hands. They've got Girdler in support. Marvellous tackle, Hampson. Wow, ball and all, Stevie Hampson on Ryan Girdler.
He picked the spot, and didn't it burst?
And Hampson collects on behind the try line. Gets a pat on the back from John Devereaux. Excellent work from the Wigan and Great Britain fullback. And Great Britain surely now at 11-4 with 27 minutes gone will just take their time to restart with this tap on the 22.
Let's not take anything away from the Steelers. That was a wonderful passage of play. They do have some talented players out there. And let's forget that these Steelers players, they played South Sydney last Friday. That was a hard, tough game for them. So both sides will be dragging and breathing very heavy indeed in these last few minutes.
Jackson just shrugs the tacklers off. That's why Malcolm Reilly's pitched him on. Edwards, still going Edwards. Isn't it good to see, though, that Great Britain aren't flagging as we approach the last 10 minutes here? They saw, that's good play, though, from Girdler. He's round Cowie. He's round Hampson. He's not round Devereaux.
A poor kick there by Ellis. But this man Girdler, he's a good kid. He can get to it. So is this fellow.
McGregor. Great Britain hanging on to his ankles, pulling him down. The Steelers coming forward again with Russell. That's a good ball. He finds Michael Neal. But Britain again come up with the goods in the tackling stint. Another big ask of this British defence. Down the man goes. And listen to the crowd. They're really getting behind their team now. That's into no man's land. They're asking for 6 more. Annesley is unimpressed. That's Andrew Pauls. It's the 5th tackle. The Steelers 10 metres out. Here they come again, attacking this right-hand side. Hallis, oh, he's almost dropped it. It was a knock-on. Oh, and it's a penalty for offside against Sean Edwards. He had no option other than to drop on that ball. Hallis made a total porridge of it here.
This was a lovely kick here by the second rower, Dave Gallagher. And one of the few mistakes from the winger that really did put a lot of pressure on them.
They've taken a quick tap, needless to say. They're after the four-pointer, and here they come now. Skiffality. Britain surround him. That's how close the Steelers are. Good driving run forward from John Cross, the captain. They're getting ever closer. Again, though, Britain hold out. Great defensive effort from the boys in red, white and blue. Here's Russell, involved in so much, the loose forward. Powell has him. Lee Jackson finishes him off. They're calling for a bit more cover this way, because that's the way they're coming with McGregor. McGregor unloads. Jackson has it back, though, but the referee says it came off Jackson's palm, and it's another scrum with head and feed to Illawarra Steelers. Jonathan, you must be biting your nails down to the quicks.
Yeah, really exciting match, but, you know, if anybody's doubting the team spirit of this squad, you can just see it on the field. Everybody's covering for each other. You know, another set of six for Illawarra. The defence has been superb.
Certainly has. They have the possession, as we would expect. Russell, long ball out to Girdler, score of the try in the first half. Edwards has him. They're coming back in numbers from all over the place. And that's good play by Edwards. He hacked the ball ahead, but it's 6 more. 17 is Piccinelli. That's Paul McGregor. He's come into the game more in this second half. Here he comes, unloads the ball brilliantly. There's a big gap out here, but that was good tackling again. And it's number 12 for the Steelers, Teitzel, who just takes it to within a metre of the line. Great excitement here. The ball into no man's land. Russell, Skiffality takes over. They're screaming for it out wide, but Britain again closed the options down.
Well, for years they said we couldn't tackle in Britain. Watch it.
Whoa, surely not. He's over. Aaron Whittaker, you spoke too soon, Mike. It's a try right next door to the posts. The pressure told. The British defence cracked. And Whittaker, a man who has played for Chorley Borough in Great Britain, 16 appearances, 7 tries, has finally smashed the British defence.
Good play here by the substitute Billy Dunn. I give them the kiss of death, didn't I, when I said that they couldn't tackle? Well, they certainly were caught on the hop there. You saw that the Great Britain side, they were still on the backward movement. Powell had to come across to try to get to him, but Whittaker just had too much speed. It was a neat pass there by Dunn. And the game is wide open. No one's leaving here, that is for sure.
A real conference going on behind the posts. Phil Larder, the assistant coach, is there. Dave Fever, the physio, is there. He's trying to mend the bruises. Andy Gregory's there, chiming in with his half-penneth. And here's Girdler with this conversion attempt. A usually safe goal kicker is Ryan Girdler. If ever there is a moment, Mr. Girdler, to miss, this is it, please. It's safe. It's over. It's 2 more points. The gap is 1. We've got 8 minutes to go. Illawarra 10, Great Britain 11. Is that Kevin Ellis drop goal going to be so important? Jonathan Davis, hard luck, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, the amount of tackles they put in there, you know, is just they had to break down. They didn't move up on the left, on the right-hand side, and that was it. The guy creeped over near the post. It's going to be a big 8 minutes now. Hopefully the lads can just hold on there and maybe sneak over. Whoever scores next, I think, will win this match.
1 point the difference. The Steelers 10, Great Britain 11. Stevie Hampson's in no hurry to get this game restarted. As punches one down towards the corner, hoping for a mistake. The mistake, though, doesn't come. It's with Bill Dunn. The Steelers have a bit of second wind. Have the British boys enough left in the tanks to hold on?
Defence, defence, that's what they'll be calling out. They'll try to force the Steelers back, keep them in their own half. The kicking game is going to be very important too. Britain will have to try to play deep into the Steelers' half.
I make it 5 1/4 minutes left for play here. Steelers coming forward again. McGregor has had a growing influence in this second half. David Walsh, one of the subs. This fellow will always run strongly. That's Ian Russell. Played for Sheffield Eagles in 1990-91. Skipperlity, forward pass. Surely a forward pass. Well, a knock on anyway. And the referee says it was on the last tackle, so it's the turnover.
Well, Annesley was quick there. It was a forward pass, as you called it, Eddie. And this is the important facet now of the Great Britain playing. They must work and work for that yardage and then make sure that the kick is deep and strong.
Not the best pass in the world, that either. We're in the last 5 minutes. The Steelers 10, Great Britain 11. So much hard work has been done by Great Britain. They have just over 4 more minutes to hold on, and it will be a famous victory. Crooks, no one's worked harder. It's their first visit to Wollongong for 12 years. They're 10th in all. The score is 4 apiece with 1 draw. That's a huge kick downfield from Sean Edwards. O'Meara sweeping up the danger at the back, trying to make valuable ground. Crooks, the man who pulled him down.
Oh, that just typified what sort of game Crooks has had. And there he is again.
Just couldn't get the man this time. It was Neil who managed to offload. And here comes Whittaker once more. Cowie has him. Edwards there to finish off. Skipperlity is the dummy half. Neil again. Ball is laid wide. And it's been dropped. And the referee...
A forward pass as well. And that's a let-off for the British side. The Steelers were gaining in confidence. They're finding the gaps. Now Britain have to start moving up a little bit more. They've been hanging back in the last 10 minutes. They cannot afford to hang back.
Fox is feeding the scrums. Here's Hampson. Still going strongly is Steve Hampson. Had a good game. And there'll be some decision for Malcolm Reilly for that test match on Friday. Which 13 players to pick? They're all in a bit of form now, as they really do start to find their feet in Australia. Here's Hunt. I make it 2.5 minutes to go as McGinty carries it on for Great Britain, but good tackling from the Steelers. Britain with the 1-point advantage. Referee Annesley is telling McGinty to get on with it. McGinty is milking the situation for all he's worth. Jackson, that's Lee Jackson, the whole hooker, struggling to get to his feet. Derek Fox, that's a little reverse kick that he uses so effectively for Featherstone Rovers. And Hallis, great chasing from Hallis.
That was a wonderful kick by Fox. He does that so many times in England. He was running towards the right-hand corner. He kicked the ball back towards the left, and Hallis knew what was on. And more to the point, that little bit of a knock-on, but Hallis was there. And that's why it's a dropout from underneath the sticks.
1.5 minutes to go, 1 point the difference. Britain hanging on, in possession though for another set of 6. Here's Devereux. Pulled down by Andrew Pauls. Alan Hunt. That's 3 gone. So near, yet so far, Great Britain. Edwards. Illawarra Steelers 10, Great Britain 11. This is Cowie. Neil Cowie driving towards that line. Edwards, another drop goal attempt. It's gone just wide, it faded. No goal. So the Steelers can restart with a tap on their own 22.
Well, here you see the replay. Edwards had the time, but I'm afraid he didn't have the direction.
On my watch, 30 seconds. That's all that separates Great Britain from a famous win here at the Steelers Stadium. There's still work to do. There's still support play needed. And Lee Crooks, as he has done from the very first whistle, leading by example. But here's Russell again. Switch in direction.
Well, there you saw, Eddie, the British defence is standing still. They're out on their feet. They must move up, put them under pressure.
They're on the ropes as Russell brings number 16 Gallagher into it. This is Skipperlity. Neil, the halfback. Little chip ahead. Hampson collects, Now just take the tackle. And on my watch, we're now in stoppage time. 1 point, that's all that separates these two sides. There's the siren! The British arms go up in jubilation. And what a great victory this has been for the British Lions at the Steelers Stadium. There's no thoughts of a second string victory here. This has been magnificent.